Hey guys, this is part 3 of my Cancel Russ Van controversial topics videos. So today's topic is about diversity in Garbage Pail Kids. We're going to look back at some old Garbage Pail Kids, and I also busted out the new ones. I have not looked at these. I have not prepared anything to say. This is just going to be just a blind grab, and so I'm just doing this, off the cuff. But now the idea for this video came from an interview I saw John Pound do 2 years ago. I'm sorry I don't have that link for you, but I can get it for you. But basically, John Pound was talking about when he was making the very first series. Here's a good one to start on. When he was making the very first series, he started realizing that he needed to do different skin colors. And so if you go back to your OS ones, these were some of the first ones. Upchuck was actually his first Garbage Pail Kid. Obviously a white boy. Let's just call it what it is. But after a while, he said he instinctively, this is not a quote, this is a paraphrase. I wish I'd watched the video recently. I haven't. But basically he was saying that he just kind of instinctively knew that he needed to start changing skin colors, because these are some very white looking characters, right? And so the point of that passage in the video was Mark Newgarden and Art Spiegelman did not tell John Pound to change the skin color. This was something John Pound did on his own. He just said instinctively after a while, he started, thinking about, why am I making all these kids white kids? Look at this. Have you ever thought about that? And so the first black character we have, obviously, is Melty Melissa, or Uzi Susie. So John Pound said that this was his idea to start changing skin colors. And another thing, John, I will say before, I don't want to get off topic, but John Pound, he's really, you can tell looking at his art, he's really focused on colors. Like, he's definitely one of the great colorists of illustration art. How he uses contrast and colors and whatnot. But also in that interview, he talked about how he also just wanted to use different skin colors to keep himself interested and to kind of open up the characters for some new, color schemes and things, So yeah, if you go back and look at your OS 1, there's only one black character. All right, when you get, I'm not going to go through every one of these, and what I really want to do is compare old with new. So let me kind of hurry on that regard. But when you get to series 2, there's more diversity. Okay, so that's what today's topic is, and just this overall feeling that I'm going to say it. I'll say whatever I want to say. So obviously, but where's all the black collectors at? When I came along, 2006, 2007, 2008, there was one black collector. There was one. And it wasn't even confirmed he was black. And I feel this is almost racist to say this. It was a rumor he was black. We don't even know if he was black. And guys, I made you a promise in this video series. I will never name a collector's name on this. I'm not going to call anyone out. I'll call, artists out, but not like actual collectors like my peers. But if you, some of you guys are OG, you know who I'm talking about. There was this one collector. He had very mint boxes of GPK. That was sort of his thing, was he had perfect examples of boxes and packs. That was his thing, was minty. But there was a rumor he was a black collector. That was one person. Now you go forward to our Facebook era, the one we're in now. There's, I think, 3. Nowadays in the Facebook era, you can just go to profiles and look. There's, to my knowledge, there's 3 black collectors that are kind of mainstays per se. Even a couple of these guys disappear for months on end. So I don't even know if they're that hardcore. So it doesn't really matter. My point is Garbage Pail Kids attracting black collectors to the hobby, and kind of what's going on here? So if you go back and look at your old GPKs, I've been talking. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Yeah, these are all white, you know. Okay, so Claude Dwayne, right? He's obviously, clearly a black, character. By the way, when I saw this character as a kid, I never pulled him. I never had a OS2 pack, but when I saw him, it just felt, even as a kid, I was like, this thing's great. Like, first, let me just say something from the get-go. I think we do need diversity. I just think about growing up. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I know the kids I went to elementary school with. I would expect a Garbage Pail Kids set to have at least 5 black characters per series, just based on where I'm from. That's just based where I'm from. At least 5 black characters, some Latino, and we always had some Asian kids. But if you look at sort of the demographics I'm from, you would expect to see at least 5 black characters. Now, I'm not trying to turn this into a big political thing. I think the biggest inquiry, though, is where are the black collectors in our hobby? Have you ever noticed how white our hobby is? So I want to go and pull. I just want to do this randomly. These are new sets. These are the newest ones. So let me just pull. Let's look at what these are. By the way, I cannot find bookworms. I went out today. Okay. Oh, that's nice. I just pulled a Japanese or Chinese character. See if I can fix this glare real quick. So, how's diversity going in today's modern GPK? Well, I just randomly pulled a Chinese character. By the way, this is a little racist because not every Asian character does take, or not every restaurant that does takeout, even in boxes like this, does Asian food. By the way, I've had restaurants use these same containers that weren't even Chinese food. So, and plus how yellow they made their face is pretty racist, actually. That's done by Joe Simcoe, yeah. Now, I would think that, there would be some black and Latino, for sure, in these sets. I'm not seeing any, are you? It's a chicken. Jesus. Okay, here we go. But I think she's an ice cream, right? I don't think that's even a black character. This is an ice cream. All right, so one thing I want to mention, I actually did have this written down. Okay, back when we were kids. Okay, I want you to think back. Back when we were kids. When we were buying Garbage Pail Kids. Now, I was living in sort of an urban area. I wasn't downtown Atlanta, of course. I was just kind of out on the outskirts, a place called Buckhead. And I could literally walk a mile or mile and a half, and I could be, as we say, on the other side of the tracks. And now I would go to some of those stores on the border of those neighborhoods. I never saw Garbage Pail Kids in those stores. The only time my places that I could buy Garbage Pail Kids were definitely and very obviously in the white side of Atlanta, or the white side of town. Now, I didn't go very deep into, the projects or whatever, so I don't know for a fact, but there's something I think about the stores that were ordering from Tops back in the 80s. They knew their clientele. I don't know, because, I'm just a white boy myself, but I'm just saying there might have been something about, were Garbage Pail Kids even available to some of those more racially diverse areas when we were kids. I don't know. Nowadays, you can buy, Garbage Pail Kids at Walmart and Targets, and those, well, Walmarts are in all kinds of neighborhoods, right? But, Targets, So I would say nowadays, Garbage Pail Kids is definitely more available to all walks of life. So I'm still wondering, let's go back to the original question. Where are the black collectors? Where the fuck are the black collectors in Garbage Pail Kids? Okay, again, when I first got in the hobby, I think it's 18 years now, there was one, and we don't even know that. I don't even know that was a black collector, and he wasn't even around that much. Nowadays, there's like three. Two of them I talked to actually, there's been a few kind of guys that popped in and out. Still, if you look at the numbers, I talked about this other day, there seems to be around 200 pretty serious collectors in our hobby these days. If you go across the groups, you see the same fucking people, don't you? When you go to all these groups, you see the same fucking people. But if you go down these rosters, and I do this a lot, I'm really, I've always been really involved in the hobby. It seems to be, generally speaking, there's about 200. I don't see any black characters, by the way. There's about 200 main collectors, that are generally seems pretty damn serious about it. Okay, here's a black collector. Had to go through this many cards to get to the first one. So it's still kind of going on. So you would think in 2022 or what's this, 2020 or whatever, whenever these came out, that we would have this fixed. I don't know if it's a problem. I'm just asking the question, are we attracting black collectors? What's going on here? Is it the brand? I know the word garbage in black culture means it's a little more complicated meaning than, say, in regular speech. To call something garbage has a different connotation. And guys, I can't talk about race without doing stereotypes. I'm doing the best I can. I'm not racist. Hope you don't think I am. I'm just trying to bring up some questions here. But anytime you talk about race, you're going to have to say something stereotypical at one point, because I'm talking about a big problem, a big overall, arching issue. So I'm going to have to say some things that, questionable, but I'm just trying to, in a, adult way, talk about this. So let's get refocused here. So my question is Garbage Pail Kids a white hobby? Where are the black collectors? Is this Top's fault? Are they making Garbage Pail Kids diverse enough? Are Tops selling Garbage Pail Kids in places where black and just minority, people can buy them? And you might have your own questions. That's the whole point of this. I'm hoping this will bring up more questions in your mind. I think we should be asking such questions. I think it's interesting. I've always noticed, I'm pretty sure you have too, how white Garbage Pail Kids collecting is. I'm going back through this set. I'm not seeing any more black characters. So far, we found one in the whole set. There was an ice cream that was black, but it wasn't a black. Okay, here's one. Oh, this wasn't even part of the set. This was an insert or a little extra thing. So in the base set of Food Fight, there was one black character. All right, let's go and, man, this is fun. Let's go and grab another one. And I'm fucking up the order of my box. I was trying to grab a whole set here. It's kind of fucked up. I'm just going to grab this. All right. Oh, and another question is, compared to OS, the old shit, comparing that to the new shit, are we fixing these problems? Are we addressing the issue of diversity in collecting? Is DDT black? Now I'm getting silly. No, because actually in the story, never mind. But anyway, back to that interview. John Pound said he was basically kind of worried about it, and he implied that he was kind of confused why Mark Newgarden didn't mention it and why Art Spiegelman didn't mention it, that they needed more diversity in the OS. But John Pound did it on his own. But as you can see, he didn't do much of it. We've only seen 2 black characters, or clearly black characters. Have we seen any Latino? What about Slane Wayne? I can't. Is he Latino? I know. There's an Asian. Yeah, so I remember Slane Wayne is Latino, and Ugly is Asian apparently. Supposedly, right? How do you know? That's a whole different topic. How do you know? So yeah, but so John Pound, it was an issue for John Pound in his mind as an artist. Yeah, Gluey Gabe. So what I'm seeing is 1 black character per set. Is that what you got? We had Uzi Susie in 1. We had Clog Dwayne in 2, and Gluey Gabe in 3. So out of 41 characters, there's 1 black. Anyway, let's go and look at this. I just grabbed this out. This should be... Oh, God, what set is this? It's like shit. God, don't you notice when you go from OS, even these 2, which aren't very good, just compared, these are trash, dude. You talking about garbage, man? Look at this shit. What an embarrassment. Okay, white. Don't know. Hard to say. Yeah, it's still a kind of a thing, right? So I'm wondering to kind of, I don't see anyone asking questions. I don't blame you. This is something you probably should stay away from. Just let me do it. Because I don't give a shit. I'll just say what I want to say. But, so there's almost no black collectors in our hobby. I'm pretty sure, I'm not black, okay? I don't know what that experience is like, the human condition of, African Americans. But I would assume, if I went to a store and I had to put my money, the money that I earned working my fucking ass off, especially as adults, the same money that I had to spend on food for my wife, my children, if I went to the store to buy something like Garbage Pail Kids, something that's in our budget, you would call this entertainment, right? Or collectibles, right? That's a very small part of your budget for some people. For me, it's like half. But I would imagine, again, I'm not black, but I would imagine a black person going to Walmart, the same place you buy groceries for your family, same all this, to buy this product and to look at this and to thumb through, oh, here's a black character. First one, right, in a minute. I would think that these would not be speaking to me or any of the culture that I'm from. I would think that what we're looking at is a pretty white product here that's been historically a pretty white product for almost 40 years. You're talking about an institution, Garbage Pail Kids, that's been pretty fucking white, almost all white from the very beginning. And even this many years later, has not changed one in any way. So, and what's different now is these are in Walmart, man. Anyone can go to Walmart. Walmarts are in all kinds of neighborhoods and places. So there's no excuse about, these products not being available to all groups of people. So what's the deal? Where are all the black collectors at? Let's end with this. How could Topps in 2022, this is a crazy question. How could Topps in 2022 attract, minority or, black collectors to collect Garbage Pail Kids? What could they do? Is it too late? Dude, this shit is so white, man. It's, dude, if you go back and if you really look at these from this perspective, I'm telling you, go back, just look at the old ones, man. This shit is so white. I mean, for real, man. And you look at the new ones. And I'm even thinking about these fucking bookworms, man. The books they chose, they're classics and all. But, oh my goodness. Here's a token black character. Look at that. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Yeah, he's a background character, right? It's crazy, man. Look at, they're always putting the black characters in the back. Yeah, it's very noticeable if you go through and look at them. Just kind of what we're dealing with. So when you're back out there in this beautiful place we call Meta or Facebook, and you go around these groups and you look at all these same fucking people every day, you'll notice that they're all white people. Some Latino. What you don't see is any mainstay black characters. And if you want to know why, all you gotta do is look at your product. It's all a bunch of white stuff, white culture. This is white culture, man. Eating spaghetti and fucking mom making cookies, lemonade stands, tacos. It's crazy, man. And I wonder if David Gross and Simcoe and Brent Engstrom, if they feel the way that John Pound felt. John Pound said that nobody told him, nobody told him to make black characters. No one told him that. His art director at Topps did not address it. John Pound, the guy, making these, he's the one on his own, with no prompting, made Uzi Susie. Uzi Susie could have been a white character. And I don't know, is this even an issue? Should we care? Look how white these are, man. Oh, man. Yeah, just look at your cards, man. I think the answer for this inquiry, where's all the black collectors? It's the product is so white. I don't know. I kind of have a problem with it too, honestly. I mean, obviously, I'm making this video. I would like to see some different perspectives. You know, we have, or at least for a while, we had a black artist, right? And what did he make? What did, I'm not going to say his name. I better not. But, you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, by the way, I'm pretty aware of it in my own art collecting. I have several, I think 4 black artworks. I wonder if Joe Simcoe would have made this on his own. Yeah, I better not go there. Maybe I'm starting to ramble. Maybe I could get myself in trouble here. I don't want to do that. I don't want to make anyone feel bad. I just want you to think about what we have here. And because we live in a big world, and there's a lot of people, and this is a product we've had going on. Man, we're close to 40 fucking years of Garbage Focus. We're getting there, man. Up Chuck was made in 1984. We're getting close to the 40-year mark. And if you look at these cards and you look around at your friends in the hobby and you think about how the hobby moved to social media, now anybody can join this hobby. Anybody could jump into Dond or any of these fucking groups. And if you look around, if you scroll through thousands and thousands of members at Marketplace, how many of those people are black? Russ Van out.